the 16th man. We're worth 7 points.
We are Gloucester.
We are the Shed.
I think it's probably the people who stand in it rather than the structure itself. The people who stand in it have got an immense rugby knowledge. Most of them have been standing here for all their lives, haven't they?
The only break you'll find when people are missing is because they're playing somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's so close in. It's so close into the pitch as well. It's when the opposition hooker's trying to throw a ball and everyone's on his case.
Gloucester supporters have packed themselves onto the Kingsholm terraces for over 100 years, but it was only in the 1950s that a roof was added, and it acquired its name, the Shed. Bob Fenton and John Price have been coming to this famous ground for years, and for them, like many others, Gloucester rugby plays a major part in their lives.
It's an aspiration when you're a kid and you're playing rugby in one of the local clubs around here. You ask a kid who's playing at Hacklecote under 14s who he wants to play for. He won't say England, he'll say Gloucester.
Yeah. I'm sure that if you said Gloucester was a religion, we'd be classed as zealots.
And Shedheads have their own distinctive sense of humour.
They can be quite outrageous at times, but not just for opposition players, but for home players. I remember Audley Lumsden having scored a try down there, jogging back and taking his position here, and he was wearing red boots, and somebody leaned over and said, "If you click your heels 3 times, will you disappear?" And he just cracks up laughing.
Often you'll get a touch judge who can't make his mind up, and you get the usual crack. What are you going to do? Phone a friend or ask the audience?
Yeah.
A few fans had the opportunity to meet former England and Lions centre Will Greenwood, who has fond memories of playing at Kingsholm.
Anytime you drop the ball, it was ee-oh, ee-oh, all sorts of things. They loved a bit of banter. It wasn't abusive. On occasion it might have been, but on the whole, it was just good, friendly, sledging banter.
The energy of the crowd can affect the players, whether it's the home team or the opposition.
Everywhere you are somewhere alongside the Shed. You try and play on the far side of the field. Look, Kingsholm is another of the great venues in the Premiership and in the Heineken Cup.
Before a game, they'll run in front of the Gloucester team, will run around the ground, and you can visibly see them growing and getting taller. Probably puts an inch on them at least as they run past the Shed.
On match days, the fans arrive early to get their positions on the terraces, and the Shedheads were hoping to inspire their team to glory against Munster in the Heineken Cup quarter-final at the weekend.
It'll be like a street party out there. The pubs will be overflowing on the streets. Great sight because you'll have Gloucester supporters, Munster supporters all drinking together. It'll be a fantastic day.
Come on, Gloucester, have them!
We get on very well with Gloucester and they get on with us, and there's no bad words, or we've had a good time, and we'll be enemies in there for 90 minutes, and after that we'll be friends again. We'll be back to the pub.
That's going to be electric today. It's going to be fantastic. It'll be like no other rugby ground in the country could ever be.
And it was an expectant Shed which welcomed the 2006 champions to Kingsholm. Munster had lost on their last 2 visits here, but the Irish province are currently ranked #1 under the new seeding system in place next season, and were favourites going into Saturday's match. Gloucester needed a fast start, but the normally reliable Chris Patterson failed to take advantage of early Munster indiscretions. It was in stark contrast to his form for Scotland. The home side were made to pay just before the break when Ian Dowling rounded off an untidy move as Munster opened up a deserved 8-0 lead at half-time. Gloucester's inability to turn pressure into points continued after the break, and the tie was settled when All Black winger Doug Howlett gathered Dennis Hurley's testing kick to score in the corner. Gloucester only managed one successful penalty kick as Munster won 16-3 and progressed to their 7th semi-final in 9 years. Munster had silenced the Shed.
We were aware that it would be full because we were here 2 years ago, and we know that, you know, they come in, I don't know what it is, 2 hours beforehand and you know, start getting behind the team early on. So we were kind of aware of all that. So, you know, it does play a factor, but, you know, only if you let it. I think we had a very good performance. We played well and we were well worth our victory, but we did get a bit of luck earlier.
It wasn't just about 2 or 3 kicks, it was about, you know, probably 30 minutes of sustained pressure in that first half where they came out where we hadn't scored and got any points, and they deserve an enormous amount of credit for that.